Hello, Rebel, and welcome to episode 6 of Foul Language. Now, courtesy of the Sage, I have with me a very special guest. We all know him as absolutely inhuman murder machine, and hopefully, we're going to get to know a little bit more about him past him being an inhuman murder machine. But, who knows? His name's Gengar, and he's right here with me.
Hello, everybody. First of all, a small introduction of myself. My real name in real life is Ingmar, instead of Gengar. It rhymes. And I am from Belgium, the little country in Europe. Dead middle in the center. Some people overlook it. You shouldn't. It has the best beer. And I live in the town called Antwerp.
Yeah, the best beer and one of the most dangerous coaches we've ever encountered in Rebel. It's worth it.
It's the beer, man. It's the beer.
So is it the beer that makes you such a dangerous coach?
It's just so tasty, so I keep drinking, and apparently I'm one of those people which gets aggressive when they drink too much. I've heard, I'm not sure.
You're an aggressive drunk. Right. That explains a lot. Get rid of all 16 of my questions now. That's answered everything. No, as you're probably aware, ultimately we do ask 16 questions, mimicking two halves of a Blood Bowl match. We also go into overtime. We've got something special lineup for overtime for you this week. I'm sure you're going to enjoy that. But we're going to kick off with the first half, which is all about Blood Bowl itself and your relationship with the game.
All right.
So, one of our regular questions to start with is, how did you get into Blood Bowl?
This is actually a fun story. Me and an old gaming clan of myself called Vengeance had like 8 or 9 people which were like interested in a Steam sale, which was Blood Bowl, I think, Chaos Edition at the time, for like, £1 or £2. It was very cheap. We all picked it up, we all took a specific race, and we all started playing together in our own little league of newbies, to say so. I picked Corn, because Blood for the Blood God, and I sucked balls. Like, literally, I just finished dead last. And then I decided to go and train a little bit up in like the normal leagues and actually get good at the game, because a few of those clan members back in the time of mine actually were people from the UK, and they kind of knew the game from tabletop, and I had no idea what I was doing. I was just hitting my face on the keyboard and like, why are these guys frenzying themselves to death? What is this? And then I actually learned how to also already avoid frenzy traps. That's, I think, one of the first things I've learned in the game on how to avoid frenzy traps.
So, not fouling. Wasn't the first thing you learned in the game. That's an interesting game.
Yeah, actually, also murdering wasn't the first thing I learned as well. The first thing I learned was to just survive frenzy trapping and survive not killing myself on blocks.
Oh, at least someone was dying.
Yeah, it always started with blood with me. It's just the wrong people that died first.
So, I think it's probably going to answer the part of that question already, but Dreamify from the Jungle Corsairs had a 2-part question for you, which was, what team did you start playing with? And furthering that, what was your first true love as a team?
Norse.
Okay.
No kidding. Like, Norse was my first actually lovable team, because another guy was playing Norse in that league, and I faced him like, hey, they also have a lot of frenzy, I like this. But they don't knock themselves down. This is nice. This block. It sounds useful. I might try this skill. And then I took the skill to, just the general leagues, and I actually made my first killer berserkers there, and I really enjoyed them. And then I was like against that same group of people, like, hey, can I use this like Norse team, which I got in the open league, and tried for a test match? And a guy which was playing Nurgle said, yeah, fine. But he was doing a special team. He's doing a Nurgle team with just 16 drotters and nothing else.
That's it takes an exceptional coach to run around with something like that.
Yeah. I had 6 deaths that match, I think. 10 casualties. And the Beast of Nurgle also died. I was like, yeah, I like these guys. I think I'm going to stay playing with them.
Fantastic. Awesome. Okay, so I think it's almost a given, but this is a regular question again, it's a 2-parter. What is your favourite skill in the game? And secondary to that, what is your favourite positional or player in the game?
This is a very hard question to actually answer, but it's a little bit torn between piling on and dirty player.
Either way, it's
I
all
think
about getting them down on the ground and hurting them.
I am going to go for dirty player because piling on is like a myth at this point. Like in a few years, people are going to be like, "Daddy, what is piling on?" Once there was a time
It's
when you
that
could jump on
skill.
people.
It's that skill, son, that you only take if you're a bad coach. Thanks,
And then,
thanks, Games
and then
One
they,
Shot.
and then they look at my old team and it's like piling on, piling on, piling on. Were you a bad coach? No.
Well, you've made it to G-Man Division 1, so you must be doing something right
Yeah,
this season.
should have been that earlier, but
Yeah, it happens. So what is your favourite
Mishaps.
player, then? What is it, one of your beloved Norse, or is it a player on another team?
it's actually a player on another team. I think my favorite player in the game is a Slayer.
Because he's short and angry and...
He resembles me.
That's what I was
That's
going for, because
creative.
I've seen pictures of you in real life, so yeah, that was what I was going for.
And also the perfect, basically, Mighty Bow piling on tackle piece. The only thing they don't have is jump up because they're agility 2, and that also resembles me because I should not have agility 3 in real life.
You're not a standard human lineman in any stretch of the imagination, then.
No,
Fair
I
enough.
would be more like a peasant.
Okay, so if you ever had to play against one race, if you never had to play against one race ever again, if you could say that race is deleted from the game and I'll never have to face them, what race would it be? And to extend that, if you were only allowed to play one race for the rest of your time playing Blood Bowl, which race would you choose? And that's from Walkathon of the Asterox.
Well, I've heard this question before because I do watch the videos every week. I'm a loyal customer.
Just hoping next week it'll be me, next week it'll be me, and then one week it was.
The thing is, the theme I will never face again. I'm going to post-hold this question to think about it, and first answer the other question, which is which one I will always play, and that's Smalls.
So you're definitely a fan of Men in Pants.
Yes, because they have the frenzy, which is something I very dearly like. I like frenzy teams in general. Also, when Corn will be out, expect me to actually go Corn for a while because I do like frenzy a lot. And they have pretty much everything I want in the team, which is a available Claw Mighty Blow piece, a available piling on Mighty Blow piece, and a good Strength 4 piece because the elves are pretty good for their price. What they do.
Yeah, also pretty tough.
And the team I never want to face again, it's kind of hard because I do like facing agility teams as well because they break so nicely. But if there was a team I really would not like to ever face again, I think it's probably gonna be Dark Elves.
And what particular reason is it you have against emo elves?
Well, first of all, I actually like playing them, funny enough, but I don't like them because I think their linemen are just too strong out of the box.
Fair enough. I mean, Dark Elves are a really good team. One of my favourites, actually. If I have to play Elves, I would only, I think, ever play Dark Elves at the moment because I don't know, I used to, my first love was Woodies.
Yeah. Well,
but
actually,
it's
it's
too
a little bit.
squidgy.
It's actually a double choice because I also would say High Elves as a team which I would like to never face because of the same exact reason. The lineman of 6, 3, 4, 8, that line is a little bit too much in my opinion.
Fair enough. Now that's out of question. I don't know if I said it at the beginning, but that was from Walkathon of the Asterox. Now, moving on to a question from Yasmir from It's a Speedsters. This is another one that is probably going to become a regular question, but I'm still going to credit the coaches because they did work to bring it up. And this is, what team would you like to see added next to Blood Bowl 2?
Yes, fact.
Yeah?
Because of Norse Marauders. Marauders, fluff-wise, are Norse, and they have, in my eyes, the best axes in the game. I would just like to follow the Sage up in here and that they indeed change something about them. Not to change the Sage ones. I wanted to change the passing axis to agility axis so they can become the real killers they deserve to be.
I was going to say, this is bizarre, because, I mean, we literally had, last week the Sage was telling us how bad Chaos Pact were, and this week you're telling us how much you want them.
Well, the thing is, I had a conversation with him about this before, and I do agree that I do want the big guys to have mutations. I do think it would be overpowered to have three strength 5 tentacle guys out of the box with one level up, but it would be really, really fun. But I don't agree to actually take away the strength access from the Marauders, and I would like him to keep it, but maybe lose the passing access and other things. Just make him like, Beastman basically, but cheaper.
Fair enough. I mean, I'd love the idea of three mutation access big guys out of the box. I mean, the 3 strength 5 tentacles guys is the kind of thing that I would play a team for, because that just sounds fun.
I just don't understand what there's a Dark Elf Renegade in that team. It's just like, Elf, what are you doing here?
Elf, go away. Go Elf. Just leave. We don't even want you.
I want the Renegade Longbeard.
Fair enough. That sounds pretty funny, actually. Yeah, like a Chaos Dwarf almost.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So, a regular question again, and as I said, the regular questions are only questions from coaches that it was so good they just get asked to game after game. But what one rule or player would you change if you had the chance? So any rule or any player in the entire game, entire Blood Bowl 2, that you could change, what would it be and why?
This is also a tough question because there's a lot of things I like and there's a lot of things I dislike, but I think I'm going to go for a very fluff-wise question. The player I would change is the Orc Walker, aka the Orc Thrower. First of all, I would change the name to Orc Walker because he fucking deserves that title. Excuse me for my profanity there, because I have a very deep-rooted, let's say, hate for those Orc Throwers. And
we've actually seen this before. Sorry to interrupt, but we've seen this before. We've had you on a recap one week, and you saw someone had took block and this and that, and I think it was Walkathon's Orc Thrower that got booed, and you were like, "Oh, what's he bothering with that guy for?"
Orc team is about having cheap, disposable, tough guys in your team, and that Orc Thrower is just completely the opposite of that mentality. It's like, I'm going to be unnecessarily expensive for no reason at all.
Yeah, and the armor value 8 as well does make him kind of a point of vulnerability as opposed to... He's not as useful, to take an armor cut.
Yeah. You know how Dwarf Rudders have 6338 Surehand Stick Skull? I'd probably make the Orc Walker 5339 Sure Hands or something along those lines, or like 6338 Sure Hands.
Yeah, because he is only as fast as a Dwarf Runner.
Yeah, exactly. He's not going to be faster.
I don't know, dude. I agree that the Orc Thrower is like, what? No, go away. I don't like it much either. Fair enough, though. So you'd make him tougher and a bit more useful. I get that.
I take away the passing. Like, he can still have passing access, but no pass out of the box. Just like the Dwarf Runner, just Sure Hands. That's it.
Okay. Now, another question that harks back to something we've already asked. But this is from Donkey Dragon from the Heretics of Lilith, and I think it plays well into what you said. Obviously, we've heard your disgust of the piling on change. But in general, how do you feel? And I mean, we can see in the background, the video we're watching, there's been a lot of piling on going on. I've got this up on my other screen, and you've been jumping on a lot of Skaven. So clearly you do enjoy piling on. But what is your opinion of the new Blood Bowl rules?
I take it that you mean the tabletop version.
Yes. I mean, because, there's every possibility that they may end up becoming just the Blood Bowl 2 rules. So, what is it you'd say about them?
Well, first of all, I think the Sage already said this about the new inducement rules that they need tweaking. I mean, I don't know it completely yet because I haven't bothered reading it completely, but I do see the general complaints already that it might be a problem and they need to fix the problem before it actually even happens. And then there's the other complaint which I actually really have with piling on. It's if they don't want the game to be, that bloody, just remove all the bash teams, remove piling on, and just call it Elf Ball.
Well, my argument there is as well. It's like a lot of them were saying that they took piling on out because it was a skill that made the opposing coach feel bad. Because you jump on their players and make sure they die. and things like
Yeah,
that.
and then they give the gutter runner something which is going to make everybody miss next game on a 50% chance.
Yeah, that is a skill that is designed to make the opposing coach feel bad. Whoever designed that skill wanted the opposing coach to feel bad, yet their argument is we don't want the opposing coach to feel bad. It's like, how can you're saying one thing and you're doing something else, you know?
It's probably one of those guys which is like-minded like me on Games Workshop, which is like, oh damn it, they outvoted piling on and they are going to change it. I must make some revenge. How can I you know those Skaven gutter runners you like, you agility pansies? How about we give them a skill which makes people miss next game because gutter runners needs a buff, right? Wink, wink.
I don't know.
Some sort of vendetta going on over there at Games Workshop.
That Weeping Blades annoys me to the core, and I could make an entire video about that, so I won't go on about it too much. I'll probably talk about it on the Rebel Alliance podcast next year.
What is also a possibility is that they just got like a hat where they throw in stupid ideas of skills and they just pull out a few random ones. Like, hey, Weeping Blades!
Wow, yeah, that's...
it's the same with Timber.
No, I don't know. I like Timber. Timber's a good rule, but... No, I agree wholeheartedly with Weeping Blades and piling on.
Yeah, but Timber is a good rule, but it used to be in every team, and now it's just on halflings.
That's true. That's true.
I think they made a lot of funnies, and they should have first corrected their stuff before just releasing it. Because right now they also have 3 teams potentially forthcoming, and other than that, there's no teams yet.
Yeah, because this way they get to sell you Death Zone in 15 parts. That's why they're doing it. I'm not a cynic, but I'm a cynic. Anyway, we'll move off this because, as I said, this is an entirely longer topic than it needs to be. Okay, so the final question of the first half, and this is a little bit more about Rebel, and it's from Leech's Boneheads. What new teams do you think we can expect to see do well this season, given that a lot of coaches are re-rolling?
Well, not Nurgle, I'm sorry, Metal, but they don't do well early on.
No, I'm expecting to have a terrible season, but that's fine. I don't want to come back up to Division 1 just yet, because there's people like you and Gerber and Sage is heading that way, and I'm quite fine to sit down in Division 3 or 4. It's not a problem.
Honestly, with all these Nurgle teams coming in, it's actually the perfect moment to roll something like Chaos or Dwarves.
I think it's a perfect time to roll something like Skaven, frankly.
Skaven is also... Actually, anything is a good call. Anything is a good call. But something with natural block like Gnolls or Dwarves are going to be horrendous to face for Nurgle. Because they can't even bash them then. They don't have a game. So
at least you can maybe win the game by scoring as opposed to against agility teams. I think if coaches reroll agility teams, that'll be where the wins come from, I think. They'll put the big W's in.
Agility teams with lots of block would be doing the best job here. Dark Elf.
The hit Dark Elves. Okay, cool. That brings us to the second half. And we're going to start with... And we're almost at the second half of the video in the background, but not quite. But, so we're close enough. And Squiggy, I know you've kind of touched on this, but in a little more depth. Squiggy asks, why Norse? What is it about the men in pants? Is it just the frenzy? Is it the cheap lineman? What is it that really kind of...
Well, I actually thought about how to hurt somebody in Blood Bowl, how to remove players in a very philosophical way and very intelligent way of what makes somebody hurt? How do I hurt them? What are the best tools at my disposal for hurting? What are the best ways to actually break them into a casualty? How do I avoid annoying chaos and make them into pain? All those little things I've been thinking about, and why do I like Norse? They are by far the team which has the quickest access to almost every method in Blood Bowl to hurt somebody. It's going to take a small explanation, so sorry if this takes a little while. So, first of all, you got lineman of 50k, 30 player, block 30 player, 50k, 633. Perfect set line. Nothing wrong with that. 87, it's a gimmick. Then you have the Berserkers. Jump up, block, frenzy. It's almost a perfect killer. You just need Mighty Blow, piling on, and tackle in that order. And that's 32 SPP, which takes it takes 8 games tops. So that's really awesome. Then you have the Ulfs. Perfect powerful pushes. Like, give him Juggernaut, give him, like, Mighty Blow, maybe even Piling On if you like to level him early, if you're slightly insane like I am. And give him Block, and they are awesome surface / roadblocks in general. You can even give him Stand Firm for, like, funny reasons. Wait, is that possible for Frenzy? I don't know.
Yeah, you can Frenzy Stand Firm. It actually makes them brilliant surfers because you can Frenzy someone out and then stand firm on the sideline and go, well, I'm not leaving.
Well, the thing is also, you also have the Yeti, which is a claw piece, so you can get Claw, Mighty Blow, and even Piling On really early on, which is also nice. The only weakness that Norse has, basically, is the low guard access for a bash team, which pretty much means that the Ulfs have to basically go Mighty Blow, block, guard, or like Mighty Blow, guard, and then block if you're feeling risky, or if you're feeling very safe, block, guard. But then it's going to take forever to level them up, because they don't really level up well.
Yeah, it's not like you can feed them touchdowns, right?
But basically, you can surf people, you can dirty player people, well, foul people, you can pile on, you have the general punching abilities that normal bash teams have with all the Mighty Blow early on, and you have a claw piece for the pesky AV7. The only thing this team does not have to even hurt people even more is a stat piece. That's the only thing they're missing, basically. And there is not a single team in Blood Bowl with such much, let's say, versatility to kill. Except for Chaos at very high TV.
So it's basically just they kill and they kill well.
They kill well very early on.
Fair enough. Okay, so Gerber, one of your he is, I believe, the orc term we discovered before the match was your Grod, your favoured rival. From maybe orc will work.
Yep.
How many elves should we allow the G-Man Division 1 people to keep on their teams after next season?
I'm sorry, Dreamify, and I'm sorry, Venecha, but when me and Gerber are done, there will be no more elves on G-Man Division 1.
So the answer is you're going to allow them to keep 0 elves.
We're going to extinct the elves.
Well, that is a statement and a half, guys. That is Gengar's mission statement for next season. If you're an elf coach, you might want to watch out, because they're coming.
Hide your kids, hide your wives.
Lock them away, especially if they're elven wives. Okay, so King of the Cosmos from Alpha Sigma Sigma Inc. Wants to know, if you were a star player, what skills would you have?
Lord Borak, the spoiler, is actually very close to what I would have. I'd basically be an ogre with Mighty Blow, Piling On, Tackle, and Dirty Player.
No block? Or is that too overpowered?
It's too overpowered. Like, just general, let's say, a little bit like Morgan Talk. 6, 2, 9, Mighty Blow, Piling On, Tackle, Dirty Player, no block.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so Walkathon again from the Astrorocks. In your opinion, what is the most satisfying piece to kill in all of Blood Bowl?
It's actually a hard one. I think the most satisfying piece to kill, which I have personally ever killed, was a Gutter Runner, because they have mutation access, and that Gutter Runner in particular was a monster. Movement 10, Strength 4, Agility 5, normal armor, and horns.
What? So 4 startups and a mutation?
Yes.
Wow, that's a stat freak and a half.
Yeah, I killed him with fouling with a basic Lion Orc. Basically, I fouled that guy the whole game through because he didn't want to get out. He was only getting stunned, and I basically fouled him 16 times. And it resulted in him dying because he wasted his apothecary on a KO into a, make it into a stun because that guy wasn't dying. He was even boasting about it. Then I killed him, and then he went crying towards the general manager like, he has got a runner. He only fouled me 16 times and didn't care about the game. I mean, I won 4-0, but he killed him. It's like, yes, because I wasn't going to win with that freak on the field. I was just going to kill him. What did you expect?
See, for me, it's got to be Rat Ogres, which is ironic because Jerry just got fouled to a badly hurt in the background. I love fouling Rat Ogres. I feel like I'm doing them a service,
I would have killed 2 red ogres in G-Men.
Because we all know, I mean, it's common knowledge how much I hate rat ogres. So, like I said,
Red ogres for you are like oak throwers for me.
Exactly, yeah. So I always feel like I'm doing them a favour by fouling them off the pitch. Anyway, after all of this murder, Lydius from the Fruity Kisses just wants to know: do you need a hug? Is that what's missing here? Is that could that fix the murder?
No, not really.
No.
People don't seem to understand this. I enjoy murder. This is like for me actually a way of feeling better, of like enlightening myself, seeing your star player with all the skills, dying and bleeding on the floor. It makes me feel great. It makes me feel happy.
I think we may have already answered the next question then. I think you may have covered it just then. But was that the Gengar's most memorable foul, killing the stat freak gutter runner?
Pretty much, yeah.
Sleaze from Capital Rats wanted to know, but you've already covered it for us, and I'm sure he'll be quite glad that I am so far not been fouled to death, because he was quite concerned. And guys, if you haven't yet checked this thread with the questions on, go and check Sleaze's post, because it's frankly hilarious. Sleaze is one of my favourite coaches, because every single week he comes in with the really, really comical content, and this one was no different and no exception. But no, yeah, okay, fair enough. So we've already covered that question. So you beat me. I can actually
cover a whole Sleaze story in a very simple answer. I'm not going to foul my chief of staff because I would be jobless then.
The Gengar is bloodthirsty, but he is not stupid.
Exactly.
Okay, so Dreamify from Jungle Corsairs, and we do know again that your playstyle is very foul heavy, but how has your playstyle changed over time as you've gotten more experienced?
I've learned to foul. Basically, I started as a patch coach with Mighty Blow and Piling On, and then I'm like, hey, what is this dirty player thing? Hey, I like it. And I picked it up.
So essentially, it started out learning how not to frenzy trap yourself, and then it learned into jumping on people, and then you learned into fouling. Is what you're saying?
Basically, let's say it like this: I started out as a dwarf team, learning how to overpower enemies. Then I became an orc team, and then I learned how to foul. I became an undead team, and then I learned how to not frenzy trap myself as a Norse team.
I've got to ask then: do you realize there's a ball involved somewhere during the game?
What?
Alright, the final question is one of our regular questions. What other games do you currently play that isn't Blood Bowl?
Let me just get a bucket list.
Okay, your top, like, say, 5 favourite games.
At the moment I'm playing a lot of NBA 2K17. I'm playing a lot of, Blood Bowl, of course, but next to Blood Bowl, let's see. What have I been playing? Actually, lately I've been playing Carmageddon, Max Damage, because of nostalgia. I've been playing Rocket League a little bit, Civilization 6. Of course, I always play Rainbow Six Siege, because I'm a huge Rainbow Six fan. And I also have The Division installed, but I haven't played that in a while. And WWE 2K17, because I actually like simulation games.
Fair enough. And in any of those, do you foul?
Yeah, in WWE 2K17, I actually remade a Norse player, and I made everything of his moves into elbow drops, like elbow drop from the top rope, the people's elbow, nothing but elbow drops.
Just to mirror your Norse. I like it. I like it a lot. Because the elbow drop is a really nice animation. I love the animations in Blood Bowl 2. I constantly talk about how good they are, but the Norse have some really great ones. The piling on and the elbow drop being one of my favourites.
I love the piling on of the elves. It looks so savage.
Okay, well, we've survived 16 full turns. That was the second half done with. Now we're going to go into overtime, and this is very quick fire, so you don't have to give, it's like 10 words or less answers. You kind of got to pick one and maybe say very quickly why. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through 5 choices, and I want to know who you prefer to foul in this setup. So, if you had to choose between a Wood Elf War Dancer or a Skaven Gutter Runner, who gets the foul?
War Dancer.
Okay. Any big guy in the game.
The bloodthirster. In Blood Bowl 2, it's not the bloodthirster, of course. It's the Yeti.
The Yeti? Alright, cool. And in Blood Bowl 1, it's the Bloodthirster.
Yeah.
Okay. Orc blitzers or human blitzers?
Human blitzers are more like skull.
High elf catcher or a wood elf catcher?
Wood elves, they break easier, but it's nicer to kill a high elf catcher.
Okay. And finally, a dwarf slayer or a Norse berserker?
That's a tough one, but I think I'm going to go with Norse Berserker simply because it's more likely.
So it's all about the odds. It's not about hating things. It's just about the odds.
As long as it dies, I'm happy. And if it can die quicker, it's better.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, that was Foul Language, episode 6. 16 turns on the pitch with Gengar. We did survive. We made it all the way through all of the questions. Thank you for joining us, Gengar. It's been a pleasure.
I mean, you survived for now, but you're not going to survive season 5. I can guarantee that.
Oh, I'm not going to be here in season 5. Remember, I'm down in the bottom.
Well, you are safe, but I mean the rest isn't.
The rest of ReBBL aren't safe, is what you're saying. I see.
Yeah.
I see. Well, the last remaining question I suppose I've got to ask. Given that we're in the playoffs, I really want it to be a playoff coach. So who that's left in the playoffs that hasn't been on Foul Language yet, bearing in mind Walker and Sage both have, who would you like us to get on next?
I'd like you to get my rival in here. Gerber.
Oh, but he's not in the playoffs anymore.
Yeah, I know he got eliminated, which is sad. Shit. Yeah, let me think then. Who's still in the playoffs? You know what? Let's get Walkathon in here.
We've done Walkathon. We've done Walkathon. He was episode 3.
Yeah, exactly. The Aussie one. Damn it. Yeah. Okay.
You're
you know
bad
what?
at this,
Cool.
Gengar. I'll see if I can get Gerber in because he was in the playoffs. We'll reach out to Gerber, see if we can get him in. If not, you can PM me. We'll talk about it after the show. But stay tuned, folks. If we can get Gerber involved, we'll get him in the house. Okay, thank you once again, as I say, for joining us, Gengar. I hope you've enjoyed it.
No worries.
It's been a pleasure.
Of course, always.
And thank you everyone for watching. ReBBL, you guys stay classy. We'll see you next episode.